Hey, welcome to Inside the NBA, your favorite NBA podcast. Tonight, we're joined than none other, our NBA insider, David Miller. Dave, thanks so much for joining us on Inside the NBA. I'm so glad that we can get together and do this.
Kevin, just because your team sucks doesn't mean we're not doing a fantasy football podcast. Nobody cares about NBA basketball, and only people watching are I was going to say the 12 people in our league, but there's probably only a few of them. This is football, not basketball. Basketball hasn't started yet. Football's not over with yet. Get it through your thick skull.
So, we have to keep doing the podcast?
Unfortunately, yes. Our multitudes and our one hand number of people care about it.
Fine. Dave.
Hey, we're here.
Welcome to the podcast. Hold on.
Are you giving up already? Are you giving up on this season already? Coming up with a crazy cold open intro like that, trying to get rid of fantasy football and move on to basketball and your beloved Warriors.
Josh is really excited about the Grizzlies.
Yeah, he is. It's because it's got a Purdue guy on the team. Josh is anything if not loyal.
I mean, I figure Adam went on vacation, literally and figuratively. Most of our teams suck. We could have had 15 IR spots and just had one starting position, and maybe our league would be better.
It's almost time to do another in memoriam because we got a whole new set of people.
Yeah. I can't. Maybe this time they'll let us play that Sarah McLachlan song that you wanted.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's brutal out there. There's no place for children.
It's hard out there for a pimp.
It is. It's tough. So you want to give out an award or two?
Yeah, Dave, what do you got for us? I mean, can we be a little creative today? I'm just asking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think after the 3 weeks that Flex has put together that a Miller Time Award is even does it justice. So I'm not even, it's like Miller Time, that's nothing. So I'm going to give it to somebody that not only did they need a win really bad, but they needed a high score really bad, and had nothing to do with who they played. But it's going to Sundance Kid. His season was on the brink of disaster, and he gets a win and he gets a bunch of points, moves up in the standings a little bit. So Brennan, hey, if you're watching, I think you are. What else you got to do, right?
At least for the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, so hey, real quick before you sign off, congratulations. You got a win. If I remember right, you scored well above 100. I think it was 116 or something like that. If I remember right, 109. So, and he needed all that. He won by like 10. So yeah, so he's jumps to 2-3 because 1-4 is a big difference in this league trying to make the playoffs. So good job.
Well, what do you got? Yeah, so for our Hillbilly Harrison Hillbilly of the Week, like always, I think just tons of honorable mentions I could give out. Myself, we could just name this, the Smitty Award if we wanted to.
You're working on it.
We could give it to its namesake, Ed. It's like when you go from being undefeated to then losing 2 weeks in a row, and just your scores are just down. It's like we'll get to Ed in a little bit, but definitely there's some worth there. I would if somebody cast a vote that way, but you score in the 50s. and you're gonna get some hillbilly love.
You
all
are,
right?
yeah.
And
I mean,
it and here's like when your defense goes -5.
is that the max? I can't remember.
Oh man, I don't know how it could get.
I haven't looked at the numbers in a while like that, but
You know how it, like, for defense, it gives you all those stats of like everything that happened. For his, it just says 36 points allowed. So no interceptions, no
that
fumble
was
recoveries.
the only stat.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. -8. No, you can go to -8 if you give up. You'd have to give up 46 points and not get any other things. That would be something. If somebody gets a -8, then that's automatic hillbilly award, I think.
Well, we'll get to we got some segments we want to get to. We don't want to go super long tonight, but Lee, man, his team is just so Jekyll and Hyde, right?
Yeah.
There's weeks where, I mean, he got an early high points where he was up close to 150, and just. But some of his players are very Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, Kamara would be one. Like the Saints, it's like the first 2 weeks of the season they were killing it.
I feel like there's been, which one's the good one, Jekyll or Hyde? I can't remember. Hyde. I think I think Hyde's the monster.
Yes.
So he's really only, like, this was his first week that he wasn't in the 90s or above.
Yeah. Yes.
So I think he's more. This was an anomaly. But it's,
well, let's hope, because he's got to put together a team for this week. So
that's true. But yeah, he'd put on a pretty good run. He didn't get wins. He got lost the first week with a 98. So yeah, no, this was his first bad week, and it was bad. It was bad,
real bad. And but I mean, a lot of us would wish we were 3-2. So he's with as many points as he's got. So Lee will be fine. But from experience, I can tell you that those 50s hurt you.
That stings a bit.
Yeah, it makes it hard, because here's the thing. You want to average over 100 points a game. Yeah. Like, so we've done 5 weeks. You should be at 500. You know what I mean? And but I was on pace for that, and then I had a stinker, dude, and it just like kills your average. It's like it will suck you down into an abyss really quick. So
yeah, no doubt.
Well, let's run through it real quick. Okay. We had Brian versus Ed, and this one was really, I mean, no contest. Brian with a 20 or almost a 30-point victory, 29. And Brian getting points from nothing. I mean, his defense got 15, kicker 13, quarterback 27. Ayuk finally showed up. Which is a
pretty darn good score this year for a quarterback.
Yeah, but a lot of both of his running backs got in the 7s. He had Pickens with 2.6 and Ferguson with 7. Jefferson only 9 points. So it wasn't like he just was on fire, but he was pretty consistent. Had a big day from Murray, special teams and defense and kickers, all that stuff. Pretty good for him. Ed, just negative for defense.
Yeah,
that's a 17-point swing there.
Yeah, if you should get 8 to 10, you start with 10, and you should get a couple sacks and a fumble, and then if you give up some points, it evens out.
Yeah,
it gets you 8 to 10.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking at it compared to what Brian got at 15. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
that's almost like not starting a quarterback or something.
Yeah, and then Jones with only 5, and then
he got hurt.
Yeah, Samuel with 2, Godwin with 6. His kicker McPherson only got him 4. Man, it'd been real nice if he would have got him 5 more points.
Yeah, it would have 104 to 79 would have been a little better for some of us.
Yeah. So,
gosh.
But Brian keeps winning. Brian and Ed now tied, both 3-2. You mentioned it, Brennan with a big win,
Yeah,
109-99. I'll give Adam credit, like put up a
it was
decent score.
close. It
Yeah,
was touch and go there. It was all. I mean, Kraft came up big, and I feel like he got some late points to pull away.
yeah.
Um,
And and Adam, like he keeps on trying to tinker with it. Like no matter what wide receiver he starts, somebody on his bench outscores him. You know what I
yeah,
mean? He's went with so many different combinations. He's went with he had started Zamir White like 3 or 4
first
weeks in a
couple.
row.
Well,
Yeah,
he had faith in him. He was good. I think the end of last year, he was kind of projected to be their go-to guy, and it just has not worked out for him.
yeah. So and Mahomes, like I think you mentioned it like just in the write up, just
Yeah, I mean,
pedestrian
they're 5-0.
numbers.
He's doing
Yeah,
what it takes to win. He's not
yeah.
worrying about people's fantasy lineups and chucking the ball out, but he can't really because I don't think
Who are you
some
going
of
to
his
throw it to?
receivers aren't, they don't run the right routes. They're not, Kelsey's trying to pitch the ball every 2 seconds to people and just create, they're just getting it done and winning just enough.
Yeah,
So he's not putting up 30 to 40,
yeah.
even
So then we
25. So
had Junior saving his season. I mean, not
yeah,
too long ago he was at the very bottom, looking up, and now finds himself 3-2, scores 111.
yeah,
Um, got got some
man,
big
that
scores.
that Mooney's been a revelation. That
Yeah,
at the when we were eating chicken and he needed points for Mooney and Mooney didn't get it, he could have dropped him at that point, being mad at him, and he had
yeah,
faith in him, and boy, it's paid off. The Atlanta has been, that like London's a good receiver, but they're probably doubling him, and so Mooney's open.
yeah. And and Andy's team at 1-4 is much better than what they're playing. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
he scored 102. He had a big week one. He's had some down weeks in there, but
yeah,
you
he's
know, I don't think it's over for Andy. These teams at the bottom though, like
not with teams like, you know Ed dropping, a couple
yeah.
more losses, and he's got low points. Andy would pass him.
I
If
I always I always like four teams not making the playoffs is a lot though. Like I mean, just when you're looking through it, it's
yeah,
like like Andy finds himself in 11th place right now. It's like, man, you got to do some serious work to get to eighth.
yeah. Who's
So
we usually wait until later in the season when we're like, all right, who's gonna fall off? But
yeah,
right now, it's just gonna be a battle for
yeah,
what looks
slugfest.
like 2 through 12.
Yeah, and so that brings us. Ratty had the unfortunate uh, privilege of playing against Flex, and
Yeah,
didn't matter what he did.
no. I mean, 95. That the
It gets you a
first
lot of
5
wins.
weeks that would have won most. Would have beat half the league just about every week. There's usually 6 teams below that if you play the right one. So yeah, he just found himself playing the juggernaut. So
Yeah,
that's
and Josh should look at his lineup and say he wished he had some guys perform better, or didn't have some guys hurt. But when Travis is scoring 144, it's hard to compete with
yeah.
that.
I mean,
Uh, then
Field
we got
or Hertz was on bye.
yeah,
I mean, but he wasn't before. He wasn't like lighting things up. But yeah, say he gets 5 more points, that doesn't really make a difference.
no. So and we got Rennie going up against
Yeah, didn't have to do much on this
Big
one.
Lee. Yeah, but
He got
decent score for
44 from
Rennie.
his quarterback, and Lee got 58 total. So right there,
Yeah. Yep. Man, I mean, just because across fantasy football, Burrow's one of those guys where there's dudes out there that probably have Burrow and Chase on their team, or have Burrow and Higgins on their team.
yeah,
Man, that would have been a big day for your team,
yeah, no doubt.
especially in PPR leagues where those receivers get just a ton. So, but unfortunately for Rennie, the victory might have cost him his star wide receiver, just as we were giving him credit for what a spectacular draft pick Nico Collins was.
Yeah.
He's going to be
Man.
out for at least 4 weeks.
So it's just brutal out there.
Yeah. Do you think that Rennie would prefer that Travis Kelce keep a hold of the football instead of trying to lateral it across the field?
Nobody was going to tackle him right. He probably would have got 7-8 more yards right there. That's, just nuts.
And then, and last but not least, we had, what a great matchup, 88-72. Sam Darnold is on your payroll and decided just he did not like that.
It was looking game. like early on, I was like thinking I was going to get to the 115 to 120, and then just the bottom fell out. But you just didn't have anything to catch up at that point. You tried.
CD didn't do anything. Yeah. And I mean,
because I was
H-Can left the game. Sam Darnold had a terrible game. So
I was thinking, well, I'm pretty safe. Whatever you do, even if you catch me, I'll get 4 or 5 points from my kicker and pass you up. But good thing, I didn't need that because he got nothing.
And it's like what we're talking about, like with fantasy. It's like Minnesota won the football game. They didn't care.
Yeah. I mean, he did what he needed to do, and you could have had any number of guys that you had on your team at one point that would have made a big difference.
Yeah. So, but well, like you said, hate to spoil a 16 from your defense and a 16 from your kicker, but I found a way to do it. So
yeah. So I think you were, I guess that you would have been 2-2. We were both 2-2. Did you have more points than me last week? Or was I already ahead of you?
No, because I'd had that 50 the week before, so it was 50 something. Like my points took a hit pretty bad in week 4, week 3, I think it was. So
I was hoping we'd flip flop, because then I'd get in character and I'd say, I just want to let you know you're sitting in my chair. Flip flop there, but it didn't happen.
It's another great line. So
it is, yes.
In preparation for tonight, we put together a couple segments. So I don't know, you're not on Instagram, but Instagram is a pretty funny place to kind of like consume sports media. Like I'll post a lot of funny like videos or different things like that from Instagram in the chat. But Rennie's on there. Looks like Junior likes Twitter the most. I don't even get on X or whatever it is very often, unless somebody posts something. But looks like Junior's on there quite a bit. But a lot of these sports media companies, whether it's like Bleacher Report or even ESPN or some of these, like a big trend is that they're doing is like they'll come out with an article and it's like number one need for each team, and they'll do all 32 NFL teams, or one sentence to describe the season so far for every, and they'll tease that and then want you to like click on their article. And some of these places, I don't know all of them, but some of them might be behind like a paywall or something. Like I know The Athletic is, you ever read anything on The Athletic?
No.
I think it's a paywall. Like you have to like subscribe to like read, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, like you can't go on the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal right anymore, like and just read an article.
I've gotten blocked. I hate that, because like you'll be on, I'll just like Google or Yahoo, and you'll see an article and you'll click on it and like, oh nope, you got to pay to read it. Like, well, what'd you put it out there for? Now Kevin, this right here is probably the closest thing I have to social media. So
the podcast and the chat.
Yeah, because our group chat is that like 12 people. That's the extent of my social media.
Yeah. Well, and we've
actually it's more than 12. Don't we have some past members that chime in every now and then? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm out there.
It's our own social network.
Yeah. I have to limit myself, because if I expose myself to all that stuff, like then like nude clowns get involved and it's just bad. So I gotta, you gave me a task.
So I gave you a task. So each of us had a writing assignment. You're going to do one sentence to describe each team's season so far, and I've got the biggest need for each team right now. So
Okay.
you want to go first?
So you came up with this because you've seen a lot of these. So I have no idea if I did it in that style or not, but oh well. So I just went from team 1 to team 12 in order, just to, if it was easy. So we'll start with flex. Week 5, all 9 of his starting spots were top 15 at their position, and 5 of those were top 5. I think that says it all. And then I realized today that last week and still this week, number 1 QB, number 1 RB, number 1 wide receiver,
all on
the
his
same team. I'm like, that explains a lot of this goodness. So moving on, we got Brian. His worst score yet is 89, and he has 4 start-worthy running backs. I'd kind of like that.
You and I worked on some different things, and yeah.
We'll move on to Lee. Came crashing to earth this week, but a trade of Adams to Jets could really change things. Yeah. I don't know if it'll happen, but he's got Adams and he's got Rodgers. If those two team up to the Jets, and he plugs him in, who knows? Rennie. Burrow, averaging close to 30 over the last 4 weeks, makes up for some concerning disappearing acts.
Rennie keeps losing players.
Yeah, and players that play, like the last 2 weeks. I think he mentioned, "Where are you, Breece Hall?" Like, boy, he had a great first 3 weeks, and then he's gotten like a 1 and a 3. Like,
his last 2 weeks have been bad.
Where are you, Breece? So
there's a lot of overlap here. We could have created this into one article, because there's so much shared.
So mine is a 3-week win streak has been aided by a QB change at Carolina and an awakening of the Bear offense.
Yeah.
Because I mean, beginning of the season, after watching Hard Knocks, I was so excited, and then the first couple weeks, I'm like, what have I done? I picked Moore, I picked Swift, and not hoping I wouldn't have to play Swift, but now I got thrown into it, and I'm like, after the first couple weeks, I'm like, I can't put 2 Bears in my starting lineup. They can't support that. But these last couple weeks, they've been supporting it. So Junior, plenty of smoke and mirrors, but has weathered not getting a snap from his first round draft pick. That's Junior for you.
Yeah.
Maybe there's more than smoke and mirrors to Junior's team. But I had to write something.
Yeah.
All right. Ed has only really had one good week, way back in week 2. The Purdy Samuel magic has not been magicking. I don't know if that's a word, but it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, remember last year when he'd dump one off to Debo and he'd run a touchdown for like 60 yards, 50 yards, he'd get lots of yards after catch and padded those Purdy stats.
Yeah.
Not so much. It's Ayuk's doing well, and they're just handing the ball off to this Jordan Mason like 100 times a game, just because they know that, like, which seems kind of crazy, because if he gets hurt, I don't know what they'll do, or I don't know if they're going to, if they get McCaffrey back, then maybe the offense changes a little bit. But Ratty, a couple tough luck losses skews this record. Best defense and kicker, and plenty of other pieces to turn this around.
Yeah.
Good luck, Ratty. We're all rooting for you. Everybody doesn't root for Ratty.
Yeah. Junior's not this week, but
well, I bet he is.
Deep down, yeah.
Yeah, deep down. Sundance finally broke 100 to keep season alive and has some emerging guys to keep it up. So we'll see. He's not out of it, especially now. All right, up to you.
Yeah.
Where good quarterbacks go to die and everyone else gets hurt or suspended, it's been a revolving door at nearly every position.
Yes.
Is that fair?
It has been, yes.
Yeah, well. Andy, 3 weeks scoring above 100 and only a single win to show for it. We mentioned that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look up and down and he's probably like, man, why didn't I play any of 6 other teams? And last but never least, has only beaten Kevin. I didn't want to be too rough because we've talked about this
that might be enough for him for the whole season, though.
That's the last thing I want to do is poke the bear.
Yeah. Yep.
Playing Adam this week, he's had some struggles, but I'm not like any kind of dynamo, and so you know, I that whole I mentioned in my write up about course correction. It does seem to happen. It's like things even out a little bit. So I'm not looking forward to the trend reversal, but we'll see.
Yeah.
You know.
So, so I did what every team needs, okay? What every team's biggest need, but then that's just on the surface. All right. So then I went a little bit deeper and said, what
Okay.
do they really need? All right. So if you ask Travis or anybody in our league who's received a trade request from him, Travis's number one desire is that he wants a running back. And it makes sense. If you look at this week, his only blemish, right? He's got what's his kid's name that he's
Chardonnay or
Seattle.
Yeah, it's the backup guy, and Walker was hurt a little bit, and so he was relevant for a week or a week and a half. But now that Walker's back, not so much.
So what Travis really needs is a better draft strategy because he didn't pick his number 2 running back until round 7. And then his backup, he didn't draft until round 10. And all of it's fine because we talk about his quarterback and his wide receivers. All those things are fine. But he picked the number 10 tight end before he ever picked his number 2 running back. And so I just think that instead of complaining about not having this was foreseeable. He waited until round 10 to round 7 to pick his number 2 running back, and then he waited till 10 to even pick a backup. So I'm just saying he could have finagled that a little bit more, and avoiding picking your tight end in round 6, especially when they're not going to be a difference maker. But Travis,
he scored 140 points 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, Travis, nobody feels sorry for you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Brian really needs a wide receiver. He's kind of like if Brian has a weakness, it's at wide receiver. But really, what he needs is patience. His team is getting better as long as they stay healthy. They're proven. He doesn't really have that many weaknesses. Big Lee.
Yeah.
Big Lee needs a tight end. He drafted one fairly early, if you remember. But what he really needs is and you mentioned it, Davante Adams to be traded. That will bolster his wide receiver core. Jets, anyone? So if that would happen, Lee would be sitting pretty. Rennie.
The tight end thing's kind of rough for this year because any given week there's only 4 to 5 that are by numbers even startable.
And it's rough across the board. It is. But when you use top 6 round draft picks on tight ends, and there's guys sitting in waivers, so you could that are outscoring those guys, and Mark Andrews didn't score anything the first 2 weeks. So it's when you use a 5th round draft pick on a guy,
man, there's so many other guys. Yeah, I get it.
That can hurt you. Rennie, biggest need, wide receiver, and he just lost his best one, so it's not getting better. But really, what he needs is to thank his lucky stars that he is. Oh no, that's you. What he really needs is consistency. Breece Hall, I'm looking at you. He needs Rennie just needs if some of these guys would just be a little bit more consistent, like you said, first 3 weeks of the season, it's that whole Jekyll and Hyde thing. Miller, I have you down as a wide receiver as well. Would you take a really good wide receiver?
Well, yeah, of course. I would always want to improve, but I've got a few overachievers at the moment.
But just when I look back statistically at your team, those were the places that were getting those 2s and 3s. You know what I mean? But really, especially early, like you talked about Chicago's offense, really what you need is to thank your lucky stars that you're here in 5th place.
Oh, yeah.
It's a gift.
It's Christmas and now October.
Yeah.
I can live with that.
Yeah. Junior needs a running back. I don't know if you know this or not, but the one that he drafted first overall hasn't played yet.
He hasn't played. Okay. Yeah.
Really, what he needs is to go back to the tavern and ask for a redo on the first round of the draft.
Yeah.
That'd be nice for him, wouldn't it?
Let some other schmuck think that they got to steal the draft by getting McCaffrey at 6 or something.
Yeah.
Ha ha, you suckers.
Yeah. But even what would he like? What if you were being sneaky and then you're like, oh, I'm taking Tyreek with the number 1 pick? That would have burned you too.
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked out so well.
Or Adam's pick of Bijan Robinson.
Yeah,
that would not be good.
I thought the only thing that he needed was usage, and
Junior
they're using him the same way.
Junior should have pulled a homer and just say, "Give me Jamar Chase."
Yeah. Who's the number 1 wide receiver right now? There he is.
Yeah. Ed, what Ed really needs is a quarterback. I think that his quarterback's been holding him back a little bit. He's stuck with him for a long time. But what he really needs is some staying power. His fade is fast. Also, stop benching the wrong running back. If you look back at his every week, he's been swapping guys in and out, and every time he makes a move for his running back, the guy that he puts on his bench.
Do you think he, during the week, reads any articles or headlines or fantasy update stuff?
He's making moves, though. He's making moves, and he's adjusting his lineup.
Well, I'm just thinking if he would have read anything, he would have probably benched Stevenson because everything was saying that the other guy's getting more carries. He didn't, and Stevenson gets the touchdown and gets like 15 points.
Yeah.
So sometimes not listening to popular opinion can do well.
Yeah, but he still had a running back on his bench that outscored his other whoever it was. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But Ratty, what Ratty needs is running back depth. So he had some running backs, but now that we're getting into buys and injuries, he doesn't have any running back depth. But what he really needs is to stop being so nice. 2 of Josh's 3 losses are to high points winners.
Yeah.
That's got to stop, Josh.
Yeah. It's just
quit being so nice to everybody.
Just saying, hey, lay down. Yeah, go ahead and score. I'm not going to try to stop you.
Don't you think that the whole league would be okay with Josh just being a little meaner, right? I mean,
I think so.
Yeah, we can handle it.
I think we've talked about this, about whether he has a dark side.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
I mean, I've never seen it, but you think he does? Have you ever seen it?
No.
Okay.
His dark side is Brennan, his brother-in-law.
Oh, well, that's dark.
Yes. What Brennan needs is, besides a place to live that's his own, he needs a wide. I think he has one. I think he's just getting it remodeled.
Him
whatever.
and Rennie.
What he needs is a wide receiver. What he really needs is for Miami to have a quarterback, any quarterback.
Yeah, no
or
doubt.
for Hill to get traded to the Chiefs.
Yeah. That would change me too if I could actually play Waddle.
Yeah. If Achane actually could play.
Yeah. And there's a lot of guys out there that, look what Flacco's doing. Look what, some of these other guys, like the Seattle guy, none of those guys they probably could have been available,
Yeah. So that brings us to Smitty sitting at 10. What I need is a quarterback.
Yes. One that you can start 2 weeks in a row.
But what I really need is Puka to come back, Miami to have an offense, Tank Dell to get the ball, Buffalo to remember that they have a tight end, and for Houston to kick more 50-yard field goals. I think that's it. Yeah.
Other than that.
Other than that, we're fine.
That reminds me of I used to play in Connersville. Play these. Me and a friend played a couple teachers in euchre, and we were beating them. So we must have been beating them by 5 or something, because he's like, loner and a euchre, and we're out of here. Oh, really? Is that all you need? That's it. A loner and a euchre.
Yep.
That's what you sound like.
Yeah. All right. Andy, his weak spot on his team, wide receiver. What he really needs is for all of us idiots to not run him off. He's got a man cave, barn, fried chicken for everybody. And the guy's getting so frustrated the other night, he's talking to Rennie about quitting.
Yeah.
Like, somebody, bench somebody, do something. Like,
yeah.
We need Andy to stay.
Yeah, we don't want to ostracize our cash cow, do we?
Like, come on.
Guys,
wise up. What are we doing here?
Whose turn is it?
Yeah.
It's
We
Ryan.
gotta.
Yeah.
Hey,
No, they're
Hillbilly Harrison League. Read the room. All right. Like. All right, Adam. Adam could use some running back help.
yeah.
He's also been. We talked about he played White, probably
Yeah.
stuck with him a little bit too long, and then he'll start a guy, and then the guy on his bench will score better. But what he really needs is to let all of us in on his master plan, because he doesn't do
That's
anything.
true.
He doesn't do anything by accident, and all of
Yeah.
this is a part of a bigger plan. And we just want to get the. I want to catch on to the vision. I want to see what it is.
It could be just to, become an afterthought where we're not really worried about paying attention.
Sneak up
and all
into
of a
that
sudden
8th spot.
he gets to the 8th spot, and then suddenly you're like, wait, he's got a team built to win 3 in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it could happen.
Well, yeah.
Not counting him out.
All right. Well, that's our take on Oh, Rennie's got a question here. Is it possible that 8 out of 12 teams will be 3-3 after week 6? Kind of crazy. He thinks that we could have like 8 teams all be 3-3, and then 4 teams be something else.
Quite the parody, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Talk about a log in the middle.
Yeah. Hey, that's how good this.
Yeah, I mean,
that's how good this podcast is. Like we can take live information that's coming in and talk about it on the fly. So.
Yeah, I guess he did the math here, and there's enough 2-3 and 3-2 teams playing each other. It's very possible.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, where do you want to start with?
Let's look at this week.
You want to go to Travis? He's first.
Yeah, let's just start at the top and get it over with.
All right.
poor Brennan, man. He has himself a week. He's got some momentum, and look what happens.
Yeah. Now Brennan still has to make some lineup adjustments.
Oh, he does. And guess who doesn't?
Yeah.
He might, but he doesn't. I mean, he might go out and find a running back, but he doesn't need to. He can start everybody who started last week and score 140.
Everybody feels so bad that poor Travis has to start Charbonnet, right? Every week. It's like it's the only thing that keeps him human.
Now, the one thing that's good for us, I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's a little, and I think Andy, I don't know if Andy brought it up, or maybe he sent me directly, because he was wondering about the IR spot. Once a person becomes not IR eligible anymore, you can't make any other moves until you deal with it. Like they won't let you pick somebody up. So he's gonna, if he wants to activate Devontae Smith, he's got a whole, he's got, unlike some of us that have people on our bench that nobody would want, we could drop them and nobody's gonna pick them up. I mean, most of these guys, they're all 5 points or more projected for this week. So he's got to have to drop one of these guys. Now, I don't know if I guess then we could pick them up Sunday morning. So one of these guys on Travis's team is going to be available or unless he makes no moves. But if he wants to get somebody, he could probably put in that McLaughlin guy and be better than Charbonnet. So yeah, he doesn't really have to make a move. But if he does, then he has to do something with Devontae Smith
because he's coming off of IR.
If he does any move. So yeah, somebody else is in that. Whoever has, I think Andy has Brown. Not Brown. AJ.
We'll get AJ Brown. Yep.
So he's got to do the same thing.
So
yeah, I can't see any way that Brennan wins,
doubtful.
Except it's fantasy football and anything can happen.
Yep. So next we've got where's Brian at? Brian against Andy.
We're carrying the boats again.
Yeah.
It's a good sign.
Yeah.
Momentum switch here.
And this one, Andy's got some work to do. Obviously, he's got AJ Brown coming off of IR. He's got Harrison Butker is
he's got
on bye, so he's got to find a kicker. But Yeah, I
What
mean,
he really needs is Josh Allen to score above 20.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that, and hope that this whole thing with Stephon Diggs is not a distraction. I mean, I wouldn't have somebody on my team like that, but that's not for me to say. I mean, Andy, if he wants to, maybe he just wants to drop him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah. Jeez, what a weird. That is just weird.
So, but hey, a Josh Allen versus Kyler Murray showdown is that'll be fun. And so I mean, Andy's wide receivers are, you just never know what you're going to get there.
Yeah.
So, but I would say the exact same thing with Brian's. Like, I was looking at Brian's, but Ayuk is trending in the right direction. So I think that, like, for Brian, for being in second place, like, none of his wide receivers are, like, they're all ranked in like the 40s.
Yeah.
But he keeps on scoring points and finding a way.
Boomer bust, guys, if you catch him at the right time.
Yep. So, man, how would you like to have to play against Show Me Your TDs? So
he's coming off of, talk about course correction. Like, he's not going to score 50 for you. He's probably going to get right back up into the 90s again, like he does the first 4 weeks. So you're going to have to, and you haven't demonstrated that ability for a while. So, but you're going to pick up a quarterback, obviously. And every week we've talked about this. There's been some quarterback that scored 25 or more.
You want to know? Only once has that person been on my team, though. Yeah. Normally, I pick the wrong guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying they're out there. Every week.
I thought what I posted on chat was pretty funny. Because that's just kind of been me and my quarterback, and then it's like, oh, there's another quarterback.
But there's people that every week there's people that don't get picked up, that are still on waivers, that score, that are left there. And
why didn't I pick them up?
And they get 20. So yeah, I mean, you could go back to Cousins, you could go back to Williams, but you've been there, done that with them. There's other guys that are out there, but others, there's like Adam needs a quarterback. There's a few, like, he might be just you two, I think, that need him. I can't remember, but yeah.
Well,
good luck.
Yeah, and I mean, good thing for Lee is that he shouldn't have to score a ton of points to win this week.
No, he doesn't, but because you got people in your lineup right now that might not even play. So
thanks for that, Dave. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm here for you.
Yeah. Hey, you get to play against Adam.
Yeah, I mean,
do you think that Adam is if he was in a position to turn things around, you wouldn't think that the week that Kansas City's on bye would be the week that would happen.
That scares me more, because he would have started Mahomes, and Mahomes has just been getting 14, 15, whatever, because he doesn't have to do much more than that. And now he's going to pick up somebody, and that person could possibly score 30, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
So why don't you pick up the 30 guy and let him pick up the 15 guy?
Well, I would, but I don't ever know which one guy it's going to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to wait for him to pick up somebody, and then you pick up the scraps?
No, I don't wake up that early. I just put in a waiver, like, for every single person and just let it roll.
You're going to get one of them.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't even know who he's going to play. And some of the people he's going to play are currently on waivers right now. So I don't even know what I'm up against. So
yeah. Now, here's a great thing. Call Me Ratty looks to be in full strength, and he's going up against Junior. So it's not good news for Junior.
Yeah, I mean,
Oswald being a nice guy is not looking too promising. And 95 is not a bad thing, but
no. And they still have Stroud at 21. And I mean, I'm sure you're hoping that old Tank can just fill in and be the duplicate of Nico Collins, but there's probably a reason why Nico Collins is Nico Collins. Like, he gets open.
I would feel a whole lot better about Houston and CJ Stroud if they could get Mixon back out on the field.
Yeah. Do you have?
Although
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is that who they have? Akers?
But he's been, and they got there's another guy that I can't pronounce his name that he got some
Yeah,
carries, and so
yeah.
it's been like a
Yeah, I mean Houston's one of those
backfield.
teams. They got weapons all over the place, like several other teams. I don't think that they've materialized like they did. I mean, last year it was Nico was only getting two or three catch, not Nico.
Yeah,
Tank Dell was only getting like two or three catches a week, but they were like 60 yarders for
yeah.
touchdowns. You know what I mean? It
And
was like,
the guy that's on, I think he's on Washington, maybe that Noah Brown he had weeks where he exploded. Like they
yeah,
had a couple guys like that. They would just catch bombs, and then they
yeah,
disappear, and then they'd catch a bomb and
yeah,
disappear. And I think this year it's been more force feeding Nico, and it's worked for him. So
right,
who knows what they'll do now? They got
yeah.
like three. They got a couple tight ends. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
That was the most frustrating thing about the Bengals game is because up until the point of the bad route, the interception there, nobody had an answer for Jamar Chase.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody else had decent games, right? They were. It wasn't like that. You know that we forgot about T. Higgins or anybody
no,
else. I mean, even Gesicki made some
yeah.
great catches, but
Chase
dude, you
Brown had a good game.
yeah,
Moss had some
but
good
but
runs.
but those slants and those out like edge routes
Yeah.
by
And then
Chase was just like
when he
destroying
doesn't do
people.
that and you just dump one off to him and he cuts
Yeah,
through two people and takes it all the way, it's
yeah,
like he every type of route he can do and be dangerous with that.
yeah. That just made
And
me
he's
think about when you talk about force feeding somebody. It was just like he could do no wrong
yeah.
until the
Until he
interception.
until he starts talking.
Yeah, well.
That's like a
Oh,
chalkboard.
all right.
Is
We
that
got
all of them?
no, we got Rennie versus
Yeah.
we probably skipped over him, but we got Rennie versus Ed.
Yeah.
Rennie's got a lot of holes to fill.
But he's got a
So
great matchup. Ed's just been not scoring points. So
yeah. And we get a big Sunday night football game. I mean, it's now or never. So
yeah. So there could be some giants out there that are tempting to pick up because it seems like teams really do well against the Bengals.
yeah, yeah, they do. So but the one thing we can say is that Ed only has one hole to fill and Rennie has two holes to fill, but it is his defense and tight end. So I feel pretty confident that Rennie will take care of that. So let's see, did we get to everybody? I think that's it.
Yeah.
So I mean, as far as the standings go, Rennie was talking about it. Flex has separated himself at 4-1.
I sent you some
Has
power rankings, but you didn't do anything with them.
Yeah, well, we'll wait a week, so we'll
They
see if
weren't
they.
even they weren't even in the exact order because I
Yeah,
think I
I mean,
had Ed
well,
a
here's what
lot farther
happens,
down.
Dave, and for everybody paying attention at home, here's kind of like my methodology. Um, Once my team's name's not included in it, I stop caring. So when you sent me
And
off a list of
and you
power
weren't in it. Even
rankings,
though you're number 10, you were not on my top
yeah, I
10.
was not in the top 10. So I was like, well, screw this. We're not even going to mess with
Because
it.
I
So
had
yeah,
Andy above you
so
because he's got a better team.
yeah, so we'll see what happens next week.
Okay.
I mean, things could be different.
Okay.
So I could be 3-3 like those teams that Rennie was talking about. All 8 of us.
Yes, that
Yeah,
could be.
yeah, and when I drop 200 points, highest points that we've had in a while, maybe ever, this week, then that'll help catapult me back up in the standings. So, but or I could stick to doing my NBA podcast. I don't know if you heard, but we're in preseason for the NBA.
Yeah,
So
I don't like that at all. Well, you
yeah,
know what? Before we go, I gotta make an appearance, right? Let's just see here and get to my screen and oh yeah.
oh, Dave, what were you wanting to say to me?
Oh yeah. Just want you to know you're sitting in my chair.
Oh, is that right?
That's right. I can't remember. Do you
Oh.
remember something about being scared? You should.
He
Yeah, you
says,
should.
Junior's gonna be so mad. He said, "You go something something for somebody who doesn't go heels,"
Oh
which
yeah,
means that he's
yeah.
and he goes,
I
"I
don't
don't
have to.
need to go heels to get the jump on a tub like you."
Yeah,
He
tough
said,
like you. Is that right? Well,
and he
is that a
goes, "That's
fact?
right."
That's a
He
fact.
said, "That's a fact." He goes, "Well, then do it. Skin
I've
that
had
smoke
just about
wagon."
enough of you. Skin
Yeah.
that smoke wagon and see what happens. What a great
My
scene.
favorite part is when Billy Bob's before Wyatt comes over and Billy Bob's there, Billy Bob Thornton, and he's like, "Rackin' frackins like playing cards with my brother's kids."
Yeah. How many times did I tell you not to smoke that cigar in my face? Yeah. Oh man,
Mm.
what a great movie. Oh no,
Hey,
I'm losing my stickiness.
hey, hey, Andy had a great idea the other night. Football had went so bad, and Andy him and his son sat down and watched Rounders. I mean,
Oh yeah,
Rounders and Tombstone, like that's going to be the only thing to get us Bengals fans through the next
I know.
several weeks. So just have those
You know, if
on
we watch
demand
both those
ready.
movies back to back, by the end we might be holding hands.
Oh goodness, so good, so good. So, all right, well, everybody, good luck this week, and hope that Adam, this league is not as much fun when you're not relevant. So I'm pulling for you this week to get a win,
Yeah.
even though you're playing against my compadre.
Yeah.
So Adam, get
You
back to relevance because
gonna have to beat Wyrat to get back
yeah,
into playoff contention.
yeah. I mean the cowboy hat's got to stick around while this win streak sticks around, right?
Yeah. Oh, I got to make an appearance until I lose.
Yeah.
Then
So
don't take a break.
all right, well, good
And
luck
no
everyone, and
Rip. When's Rip coming back?
Rip comes back when we win. You're lucky that I didn't start out with the bag on my head, but it's coming
true.
soon if you know. So, or the White Castles, or who knows what. I mean, the depression, Sunday's depression, like this isn't a lie. This is real. Sunday's depression was real. It was a combination of the Bengals meltdown that you could just see happening.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, the fact that the game went to overtime was just laughable. When you're up 10 in the fourth quarter
And
with
you
like
get a
9 minutes to
freaking
go.
fumble recovery. And they
Dave,
move it to
so
your side of the field. And then
yeah,
what do? You
we
hand the
run the
ball
ball
off and
three
run up the
straight
middle 3 times.
times. Yeah. So yeah, the depression
Right to the train station, Kevin. Right to the train station they went.
The depression between the Bengals game, and I was beginning my vacation. I preached on Sunday,
Okay.
and then I was done. I was I'm on vacation this whole week, starting my vacation. Andy and I, taking the boys, going with a few other guys. We're going to Red River Gorge tomorrow. We're going to go hiking. Yeah, we're going to do some backpacking. I should have been in the best mood of my life, but what happens? Bengals lose, and I lose to some freaking yap face that does a podcast every week, and I'm just like, ugh. Like, it should not physically affect you so much, but I was just angry and sad and drinking.
It's a get right week, Kevin. We're going to beat the Giants. You're going to win.
Well, maybe not, but
all's right with the world.
All right, Dave. Thanks for the pep talk.
Yeah.
Everybody, good luck. Have a great week, and we'll see you later.